Hey guys, welcome back to Don't Call It a Podcast. It's much more than that with Chrissy and Melanie, both psychic mediums. We're here to chat about manifestation and just channel out whatever's coming out on the topic. We both did a little bit of research and then, we'll add in more as we go.
Yeah. So last night was the super harvest full moon. So that's kind of why manifestation's on the mind. A lot of people like to manifest around the full moon, and that's great. I think it's a good time too if that works for you, and it's a good practice. But also I personally believe that like full moons are more meant for reflecting, releasing limiting beliefs, kind of reflecting on what you do want to bring into your manifestations within the next week or two before the new moon, because new moon, new opportunities. Everyone kind of has different beliefs and feelings around it, so you kind of go with what works for you. But just it's a interesting topic for an interesting time around the new or the full moon.
Yeah, it really is. And, I just feel like a lot of people feel like, it's a great time to manifest. But what we really need to focus on during the full moon is it's a great time to release things so that we can manifest. It
Yeah,
goes hand in hand.
releasing for
And
sure.
I always say, by all means, do what your intuition tells you to do. If you've already released what you need to release, then go ahead and use the full moon power to manifest. But if you have things that you need to release, any kind of negative energies, you're not going to be able to manifest what it is you want because you need your full energy behind it. It
Right.
takes a lot to manifest, right?
Yeah, for sure. And there's different strategies. My belief is always simpler the better. And a lot of people say write your manifestations on a piece of paper and burn them or put them under your pillow or um like put them in water. Like there's so many different ways that people will tell you different ways to manifest, but sometimes it's just as simple as believing that you deserve it. And a couple examples that we'll go over later, but of just different, even like famous people and how they do their manifestation. But like last night for the full moon, I personally just made a little bonfire in my driveway. And I just sat outside and I had a glass of wine and some s'mores and just enjoyed sitting in the light of the full moon. My son loves to sleep with his curtains open. His bed's right by the window. So he had like the bright
Nice.
moonlight coming in on him all night, just like good dreams and just kind of taking in that energy of like recharging. So maybe it's even like
Definitely.
I think of it as like a recharging your manifestations and your beliefs in your manifestations. Because as the moon wanes away to the new moon, that's kind of the time to reflect on what you want to bring in because the new moon is going to be new stuff. And then when it's waxing back to the
Absolutely.
full moon, that's whenever you really put into action like what you can do to make those manifestations come to you, or like if there's if you could just you want to win the lottery, buy a lottery ticket. You can't win without
Yep.
buying one. So just like simple things like
Yep.
that, like you have to be aware of what you're asking for, that there are some actions that you need to take still as well.
Absolutely. And, I don't think people realize there's quite a few steps to manifesting. And if you skip some of those steps, that could hinder you getting to the outcome and receiving what it is you're asking for. It's a step-by-step process, and each step needs to be handled properly in order to get there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I went ahead and I gathered up some information about the different steps that it takes to manifest. And I can't wait to hear about your research about the couple different celebrities and how they manifest, because we know that celebrities are successful. They have money, they have abundance, and they got to where they were by manifesting. You don't just become a famous celebrity overnight. It takes work and manifestation to get there. So
Yeah, and there's like
that's
a
going to be
common equation that all of them have used. And they're not all just like movie star celebrities. They're spiritual influences and movie stars.
nice.
Like it's a combination of just different people and their perspective, but there's definitely a common equation to manifestation.
Nice. I'm really excited to hear about the information you got. I can't wait. What a great idea too, to tap into some really successful people and see, well, how did they do it? What are
Right.
their suggestions behind this? Because I think I was going to say the long lost question, right? But I think the most asked question when it comes to manifesting is, how do you do it? Because it's not working for me, right? The people
Right.
it's not working for, they either think, A, this is hokey pokey and it's not real because it's not working, or they think, B, crap, what did I do wrong? I'm not doing it right. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Sometimes it just takes patience.
Right.
Because
Yeah. A
personally,
lot
like
of patience.
we tried to manifest moving for like 5 years, and then maybe 2 years I was really focusing on like I was just like I want to move. But manifestations do have to be more specific. I don't think people realize that you can't just say, or you, I hate saying you can't, but you shouldn't just say like, I want a new job. But like, well, what kind of new job? You want one that fulfills you, one that lets you use your creative interests, you want one that you can work from home. Like you have to be a little more specific. So once I
Exactly.
became specific in what I wanted, like I wanted a big lot of land, I wanted, a pool, I wanted a certain amount of bedrooms, and I just once I started kind of visualizing the specifics and the details of what I wanted to manifest, I literally manifested like where we lived and where we move. And there's no other reason that we should be here other than just it was a manifestation and we got here, just from believing we deserved it. And just
Absolutely.
it was just the timeline of all of it, 'cause it gets so frustrating. But then that's part of the equation is that you have to be specific.
Definitely. And hey, guys, I'm here to back Chrissy up. She absolutely manifested moving into her dream home. In the beginning of it, she had no idea how it was going to work out, what the details involved were going to be to get it to work out, but she didn't worry about that. And that is one of the key things. You can't stress about how you're going to get what it is you're asking for. You need to believe that the universe is there to deliver.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
a tough one for a lot of people, and that's why it don't work for everybody. That belief
yes.
factor is important.
Yep. And the first story I'm going to tell later, like that I have to share for the celebrity version of their manifestation, like it completely shows that. It might seem like the most unbelievable thing to obtain, but it just happens in the most miraculous kind of spiritual ways. So it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's wonderful. So,
Yeah, and it's quite magical. It really is. And maybe a lot of the people that don't believe in manifestation, they don't believe magic exists. But
mhm.
magic is real. Turning on your faucet in your shower and water coming out for you to bathe in is magic.
Right.
Okay? Like, if you don't know how to see the magic in life, then you already have blockages. You
Right.
know what I
That
mean?
was someone's thought. Someone's thought was the indoor plumbing, and then someone else's thought was to make it hot and cold, and someone else's
Yeah,
thought was to make it hot and cold that can blend and make it warm. Like, I mean, that
yeah,
like those thoughts become realities, and so the stress is only going to block you and
yeah,
the
yeah.
worry is going to block you, but it's just, those thoughts do become realities and those thoughts do become tangible.
Exactly. So, I mean, this is a big topic to cover, but we're not going to cover every inch of it, but we're
Yes.
going to get a lot of this out, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, I want to first put out there the definition of manifestation. Okay. Now, the first part is what I got from the dictionary, but then the second part I added to it. Okay. But anyway, so to manifest means to think about what you want often and with focus until you receive what you want. And then I added, you are willing what you want into existence using your personal power and your intentions.
Yep.
You're right. I mean, that's pretty,
Yep.
that's pretty plain and simple to the point.
Yeah. And that's what like I think the most
Your
important.
response is, yep.
Yep. I was like the most important word. I just think like that. I just wasn't even thinking of was like intention. Like intention is
Yeah. Yeah.
everything. Intention of, yeah.
Yes. And that's what I'm talking about. If you don't believe in the fact that you have personal power and that you can set intentions that will create and make things happen in your life, that right there is a huge stopper. You're not going to be able to manifest anything. You're
Yep.
not,
Yep.
because
For
that's a
sure.
big key factor in all of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like if anyone out there can't manifest or feels that they are not able to manifest anything that they want, the first thing they need to focus on is believing in themselves, believing they have personal power, and believing that they can will things into reality if they put their mind to it. And right there, I think that's a big stopper for a lot of people. I don't know why people don't believe in themselves and believe they have personal power. I don't
Well,
get that. That doesn't make sense to
I
me.
think it's a lot of like people don't always believe that they deserve what they're wanting. And you have to
Yes.
believe like I'm worthy of the best. I'm worthy of receiving this. I'm worthy of my dreams coming true, you know? And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people just don't believe like they want something, but they're like, oh, people like that get that, not people like me or whatever. It's just like but if you have to believe in yourself first, like you're the source. So if you don't believe in your
Yeah.
own power and you don't believe in you deserving it, that's like step one, like number one.
Kind of
So
like you're snipping the cord there. You
yeah,
have
before you
like
even
there's
get
this cord of
started.
magic and you cut it and just kind of severed it. Like, oh, I don't believe so.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And I think another
But
mistake people make is that when they want to manifest something, they want it so bad that they like hold on to it. And I always
yeah,
give the analogy of like, imagine like being at a restaurant and you place your order with the waitress, but you keep calling her over to make sure she got your order right, but she can never gets a chance to put it in to have it be made. So it's like place your order with the universe and like let it go. Just trust and like
oh man,
let them just,
what a great
create what's
analogy. That was
coming to
perfect.
you. Yeah, and
Yeah,
even another one is just like if you want something so bad you hang on to it like it's like a bird and you're like crush it or you suffocate it because you're
yeah,
hanging on to it so tight. You have to like
yeah,
release it and just have that belief in like yourself and the universe and you deserving it. Like this is and it's a lot of self-love. Like if you just,
yeah,
if you're not nice to yourself and you just need to really even look at yourself in the mirror and be like you deserve this, like I believe in you, like if you're not hearing from
yes.
other people, tell yourself that because that's even more powerful to say it to yourself because it can be uncomfortable.
You're so on point, Chrissy, because you're just channeling out all the information I wrote
Oh
down.
no way. That's kind of what I do. Yeah.
That's how on point she is, folks. So, well, why don't we go ahead and jump in? I didn't go crazy with this, okay? I put down the basics and what's important to the step by step process of manifesting. So basically, um, the first step, of course, is deciding on what it is you want to create. What is it you are trying to manifest into your life, right? That is where it all begins, of course. Then you want to move into visualizing what it is you want in detail, being extremely specific, which you were already covering about when you moved. You knew you had to pick location, size of house, size of property. What did you want on your property?
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff. Um, and that's the one big problem is people aren't specific enough.
Yep.
Like you said, you can say, I want a new job. Okay, well, so then Subway called you up and you got a job at Subway, but you wanted a career making six figures. Well, that's not going to happen at Subway.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what you
But
have to.
all you asked for was a job. You
Yeah.
didn't specify.
Yeah, and I think that's where like meditation and visualization is super powerful whenever you're manifesting. I
Yeah,
think people have a hard time even if you don't have the kind of creative brain or you're not a good visualizer, like sounds cheesy, but do a vision board. That gives
yeah,
you seeing is believing. And I just think like a lot of even clients I've had that they have trouble. They're like, I can't calm my brain enough to meditate, or I can't visualize because I get distracted. It's like then
yeah,
create it with your own hands, like make that vision board, print out things from the computer, or even do one on the computer, and just so and use it as like your background. So slowly
Yeah,
you'll start seeing the things on that vision board. You're like almost like checking off your list, your wish list. So
absolutely. And
yeah.
all of that is visualization.
Yep,
That's part of
exactly.
visualizing, is just an extension of your visualization to keep it going. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, if you're having a hard time hanging on to it, but yep.
So then the next thing I put that you would want to move into with manifesting is you need to ask for it. You need to ask the universe for what you want. And so there's a problem for some people that may not be able to manifest. They don't believe that the universe is this living energy and organism that we exist within, and that it's like the mother, like we're in the womb of the universe and we're the universe's babies. And it's like when you go to your mom and you ask if it's okay if you go outside and play with your friend or whatever, it's kind of like that, for like the best way to describe it in this discussion. And you have to ask for what you want. And I think some people have a problem with that because they're like, well, who am I asking? Like maybe an atheist,
Hmm.
someone that doesn't believe that there's a higher power or a higher force around us that we exist in. And I don't know, that's kind of a touchy topic, right? Like, I don't really know what to say further about that, except for
Um,
that you have to believe in something as a higher force.
well, I would say just bring it back to the basics. Like believe in yourself. Ask yourself to create this. Ask yourself to give
Ooh,
yourself
that's a good
different
one.
like
Yeah.
motivations or interest or to get out of your comfort zone. So I think
Mm,
if you don't believe in a higher being, just believe in yourself and you can manifest through
yeah.
yourself, use your own energy.
Man, what a great answer, Chrissy. And thank you, because I kind of was like, ooh, where am I going with this? I don't know what else to say, because I'm not going to tell an atheist they have to believe. That's not up to me.
Right.
That's they can believe whatever they want. I feel everyone can believe whatever they want,
Yep.
but when you want to manifest, you have to follow these specific steps or you're not going to get there. It's just how it goes.
Right.
Um,
That's why I think
but
it's a loose outline. It's not like a black and white kind of outline. That's why like for
yeah,
different things work for different people and
yep,
some things will come more natural than other things for other people, but it's just yeah,
yeah.
it's a loose outline of what to kind of follow just so you don't block yourself and you don't get frustrated and then the frustration blocks you even more and then you lose hope or lose
Yeah, and then
patience
it
and
really just turned
yeah, it
into
just
a
like
downward
spirals you.
spiral.
So it's just like
Yeah,
it's a basic outline of what to follow to get, help your dreams come true.
yeah, and spirits chiming in as you're talking, saying that believing in yourself was a really perfect answer for you to respond back to what I was saying, because we are spirits. Okay,
Hmm.
our soul is our spirit within us, and our soul is considered our higher self. Okay, and so for atheists or people that don't believe in God or a higher power outside of themselves, they can then focus on their higher power, which is themselves, within themselves, their soul.
Right.
And what, man, I can't even get over what a great answer that was, Chrissy. Okay.
Well, I just think of like even Willy Wonka, I cannot think of the exact way he quoted it, but he's like, um, we are the creators who create and we are the dreamers who dream. And like, so
That's
we're the,
exactly how he said it.
yeah, okay. Cause I'm like, I love Willy
I
Wonka. Like,
love that movie with Gene
so
Wilder, that
yeah, with
version,
Gene Wilder,
favorite.
that's the
I have
only, yeah.
memorized. Yeah.
But that, like, I just, as a kid, that was always like my favorite line in the movie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now it really kind of speaks more volumes to me now as a adult and doing what I do. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because manifesting is like dreaming and fantasizing in a way what you want into reality. Like when you're a young kid and you have a crush on somebody at school, what do you do all night when you're home from school? You daydream and fantasize about your
And
crush.
you
You know what I
doodle their
mean?
name.
Yeah. So why can't you daydream and fantasize about that career that you want, or that property that you wish you had, or whatever it is, you
Right.
know?
Yep. Exactly.
I think maybe as we get older, that childlike sense of wonder, of like magicalness that we kind of have, slips away. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like you have to call that back to you to be able to manifest. You need that inner child excitement, the passion that lies there to
Yeah.
create what you want. So,
And depending on what you believe, you might call it something different. It's like magic, it's dreams, it's prayers, it's wishes. Like it's all the same thing.
yeah,
It just depends what, you know, word you want to use for it, because whatever
exactly.
like your
But it all
comfort is
means
or
the
whatever your
same.
beliefs are, it's all the same, but it's just, yeah.
Yep. So, the next thing I got here is you want to say out loud and or write down positive affirmations. Okay, now an example is, and it's funny how you used getting a job as an example earlier because that's what I did. The example is, I have landed my dream job. So, no, you haven't gotten it yet because you're manifesting it, but you want to write down or say out loud every day, like a chant, like, I've landed my dream job. I've landed my dream job, like over and over again, as many times as you feel necessary. I suggest doing it 3 times each time because the power of 3 is really amazing and magical. And I also suggest saying affirmations while you're looking at yourself in the mirror
Yeah,
because it really adds a lot of power to it. You know what I mean?
that really does, for sure. And those mantras, those affirmations are so important just to like retrain your brain, because your brain wants to tell
Yeah.
you just stay in your safety zone, stay in your comfort zone. Like,
Yeah.
don't wish too big for us because, who knows like where it's going to take us, or too much change or
You're right.
something. It's like all this like fear around it. So it's like our brains are trained to like keep us safe and, content. But you have to retrain your brain to believe that you deserve, and that these things are coming to you, this change and all of, these gifts and dreams and wishes all coming true. So
Yeah.
it's just like
You
those
have to step
mantras, those
outside.
affirmations
That's like
retrain you.
yeah. And that's like that being stuck in that comfort zone and, the safety zone place that our brain wants to keep us in. And it's like you have to step outside of that a little bit to venture into the realm of magicalness. Like, I don't
Yeah.
even have a word for that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, the last 3 things, and so guys, I'm just letting everyone know these are the main steps that I feel are necessary for manifesting. There could be more things. I wrote down what I felt was, the most important. And the next thing is to continue to create whatever it is you want into reality. But that's different for everybody, right? Like, to continue creating means putting forth physical actions towards what your goal is. Like, if you want your dream job, you can't just sit home and be like, I want my dream job. I want my dream job. And then it just comes to you. You have to go out and apply for it, right?
Yep.
So, when you're continuing your manifestation, building it means you're putting forth physical actions necessary, but it's the physical actions are going to be different for whatever it is you're trying to create.
Right.
So
Yep.
you're going to have to base it on, if you want a job, you got to go fill out applications, etc.
Yeah, exactly. There has to be some kind of action.
Right. And I think that's another thing too. Some people think that manifestation is just purely magical and they don't have to do any physical actions. And then when they don't get what they want, it's not served up to them on a silver platter. They're like, what happened? I don't get it. I did
Right.
everything. It's like, no, you only did half. Maybe
Yeah.
not even half. You just visualized and said what you wanted, you
Right.
know?
Sometimes even the action is just having patience and having belief and keeping
Yeah.
your hopes up. Like your actions can just be the belief for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So then the next thing I thought was very imperative is putting forth the physical action necessary, which I already talked about, but I just wanted to list that as its own step because of how important it is.
Right.
Because there's other ways you can continue your manifestation too. It's not just the physical actions, it's the thought process, the constant fantasizing and creating it inside your mind and then living in what it is you want inside your mind. That's all part of it. And that is not being delusional
Right.
unless you let that take over your entire life. And
Yeah.
it's all, you know what I mean?
If
Because
it
at
takes
some
over your
point you
life,
got to let it go.
that means you're hanging on to it and you're going to suffocate it. So yeah, if you feel
Exactly.
like that, yeah. So
So there's like a
that's why,
fine line. You need to create it, but also don't go too crazy.
yeah, it's like create it and place your order, but then just believe that it's coming to you. Like there's a fine line. I guess maybe even some confusion could happen that like, well, if you keep saying the mantra, are you hanging on to it? But that's like more of like you believing you're receiving it, you're worthy of receiving it. But that doesn't mean that you're hanging on to the order. But if you're like, I don't know, like making a vision board every day for it, or if you're, like it needs to be like one action, let it go, and then just keep your hopes up, keep your
Yeah.
patience, like, and so that's like kind of the difference between like placing the order and just continuing to believe. So
Yeah,
they kind of
exactly.
they kind of can get blurry and kind of confusing. I can see that, but like you'll it's like a feeling. Like when you let that like
Yeah.
the big order go, it's like almost like a weight off your chest, a weight off your mind. And then just like the fun, positive part is just continuing to believe like that, it's coming and that you deserve
Yeah.
it. So that's what the affirmations and mantras are for.
Absolutely. Perfect. And then lastly, you got to let it go and trust the process. That's
Yep.
all you can do. I mean, at some point, there isn't anything else you can do. And like you said, if you continue on with all of this, you're drowning what it is you're asking for. And also, too, it sends out an unspecific message to the universe or your higher self, okay, whatever you're working with, that you're impatient, you don't want to wait, you're not sure if you're going to get what you want. It gives all these kinds of like negative energies to it, which can really ruin what you're manifesting and drown it, like you said, which was like perfect. It really was, because that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens.
I just think trusting the process is like probably the second most important part. Is like creating it and trusting. Like it's just, if you want,
Exactly.
so yeah, those are like the highlights.
And as you said that, it made me want to skip over, because after I was done channeling all this out, I thought of the golden rule for manifesting is your manifestation has to be in your best interest, but it also has to be in everyone else's best interest that may be involved in it. So it depends on what you're manifesting. If you're trying to manifest like marrying a celebrity, okay, then that is unrealistic. Say that celebrity is married and has a family and does not know you, okay? And you're probably never going to meet that celebrity. You trying to manifest a marriage with them it's absurd, it's unrealistic. And that's where people try to manifest unrealistic things, and then when they don't get it, they get all mad, and it's like, but that wasn't in the best interest for everyone involved.
Right.
So
There's
you were never
negativity.
going to get
Yeah.
that, you
It's
know?
a negative manifestation.
Yeah. And if it's not in the best interest for you, you won't get it. And sometimes we don't even know something isn't good for us, but the universe does, or our higher self does,
Yep.
and kind of puts a stop to it before we hurt ourselves, right?
Right.
Calling
Yep.
in stuff that is not for us.
Right. Exactly. Or people that aren't for us. And yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a protection to it as well.
Hey, there's been some times I wished so hard and tried to manifest being with someone, and then finding out after it didn't work out that they went and got with this other girl and ended up abusing the crap out of her. That could have been me.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been me.
Right.
But the universe was like, oh, no, 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 no. That person's not for you. That's not going to happen. You
Right.
know?
Yep. Exactly. That's so true.
Exactly. So I love that you brought up vision boards already, because this next little section, I wrote down some stuff, just kind of like concerning like what more you can do to help manifest what it is you're creating. But you have to remember not to go overboard and obsessively be doing this stuff 24/7 and not living the rest of your life. Like, don't be calling off work so you can stay home and chant all day about what you're
Yeah.
calling in. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
work it into your day and get all your other stuff done too.
Right.
But vision board was one of the things I says you could make a vision board, and you can continuously add to your vision board as time goes by, and your manifestation and what you know you want really strengthens within you.
Right.
You know, and I suggest hanging up the vision board somewhere in the home where you see it all the time.
Yeah, yep.
Um,
All the time.
you don't have to obsessively be always thinking about it, but say every time you enter the room where the vision board is, you see it, it throws it in your mind for a moment, and then you get back to whatever it was you were doing. I feel like that helps keep the energy flowing with
Yep.
the manifestation.
Yeah, I've even had like I've made one a couple years ago, and it was just like a couple friends got together, we made vision boards for like New Year's Eve, and we hung them up, and it was kind of crazy because I hung it up in like an office and I would see it here and there, but I didn't really like pay attention to it until like maybe almost a year later. I was like kind of cleaning up and I'm like, okay, let me just look at this. And I didn't realize how many things I could check off of that because it was just
Wow.
subconsciously in my vision, but like I just didn't even put two and two together to check it. And it just like it blew me away. And I was like, oh my gosh, like
Wow.
all of these things happened and I didn't even realize it because it didn't happen the way I was expecting them to. But they all ended up happening on in some way, and I was able to check off almost my entire vision board from like that year. So it was just kind of
That's
a cool,
amazing.
like one of those like when spirit kind of like smacks you in the face with like, hey, reality,
Yeah.
it's just like one of those
Yeah.
moments.
Excuse me. And that's important too. I'm glad you brought that up because you did it exactly right. You created it and then kind of in a sense forgot about it. Not really, but you didn't obsess over it. And the one thing I think a lot of people make a mistake with is they obsess over the time frame.
Yeah.
When you start doing that, you are killing your
Yeah.
manifestation,
Yes.
like totally just killing it. Okay. In a bad way.
I always think like spirit's like, oh, that's cute. Like
Yeah.
she thinks it's gonna happen in a week. It's
Yeah.
like
Because,
even
and like you
manifesting.
said, it was a year later.
Yeah.
Big manifestations can take 1 to multiple years, people. You have to remember this.
Yep.
If you're trying to get some six-figure job, but you work at Subway, I guess we're hinting, we're not name dropping Subway in this video. It's just I used to work there, okay, guys. So for like 8 years of my life. So it just comes up. But um you have to work up to where you want to be. So if you haven't even gotten the college training to make six figures, well, you're going to have to go get that degree first before you can land your dream job. You know what I'm saying?
Or just like put yourself out there at like a networking event or something. And like
Yeah.
even when I manifested moving to our home, when I started, it wasn't even built yet. And like there's blueprints. And so like I was kind of I couldn't like there wasn't a move possible. Like a lot of things still had to happen on Earth and in a way I had no idea that was happening behind the scenes. But in reflection, I'm like, oh my gosh, I started when it was like being built and it took like 2 years and then the family had to move, some certain things that happened. And then,
Right.
yeah, and then
Life
then
stuff.
it was open for us. It was put on the market. We were able to move in. So it's just like there's so many moving parts that we don't see. So that's where the patience really and the patience, the faith, that blind faith is just so hard, and
It is, but it's
yeah.
it's real.
It's real, yeah. So just
It
and
is.
I just
And
knew it in my gut that like this is our home and yeah, that it was coming to us. And it's just like that knowing. Like you always feel like this like
yeah,
tsunamis of like goodness or like blessings is coming to you. And
yeah, you can
sometimes it's
feel the energies, everyone can, but most
yeah.
people brush that off
Yeah,
like
don't
it's
ignore
nothing.
that. Just keep the
Yeah,
momentum because you don't want your tsunami to turn into like raindrops.
exactly. And I just want to mention to everyone too listening that um you just brought up a really good point because if you would have known that your house wasn't even built yet, you would have never thought that was going to be your house.
No,
You'd be like, it's
yeah,
not even built yet. So that's why there's certain pieces and parts to when you're manifesting that the universe handles or your higher self that you don't know about. Because if you did, it would put you in a negative mindset, make you think you can't get what you want, make you think what you're manifesting can't take place. And that's not true, you know?
yeah. And then it's just gonna take too long because like the patience is a big part.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So one thing I like to
Absolutely.
do, even like for manifestation, is well, I meditation is like my number one. I love to visualize in meditation. I'd love to do manifestation meditations, just even releasing limited belief meditations, like just to
Yeah.
really like kind of believe in myself, believe in my worth, believe in what I deserve. And so just different, because like I don't just do manifestation meditations. I do, yeah, like the whole healing, and the more healed you are, the more worthy you feel of things. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. So just meditation, I do them daily. But then my husband and I love to like, even last night, sit by the fire, and we were just like kind of out loud daydreaming and, talking about like our hopes and our dreams to each other. And we talk about it in like, when this happens, not like if, or, oh, I would love for this to happen if possible. It's like, well, when this happens and when I close this deal or when I get this raise or when I do, it's just like you say. So it's kind of like funny, and it's also fun to kind of just kind of daydream and just kind of have that like conversation of believing in what's coming to us, and or
Oh,
believing
I love
in,
that.
it just it's a fun
Yeah,
conversation, because after like
you,
married over
that's like a
10 years, you
message
almost
for
run out of
me.
things to talk about. It's like you can always
That is
talk
like a
about the
message
hopes and
for me.
dreams.
Sorry, guys, but me and my boyfriend are always talking about when we're rich, when we have our forever home, when we have enough money to spend on this and that and the other and do
Yeah,
this and that. And I kind of thought, like, I asked Spirit just yesterday, and you're answering me right now. Is that bad? Because am I projecting that we don't have it? But no, you're right. We're talking about when we have it because we know we're going to get it. We
right.
just don't have it yet because it isn't time yet.
Yeah, and it's
And
not
it's like
always
we're
when you're
both okay
receiving.
with that, even though we
Yeah,
want our forever home. We're okay with dealing with what it is for now because we know it's coming, you
right.
know?
And it's even like more like not even just blanket statement of like, when this happens, it's like what we're gonna do with that when it happens, or just, yeah, I
Mhm.
don't know, just more detailed, and just kind of talking into a bigger story, not just like
Yeah.
one sentence kind of hope, wish, dream, but talking into existence of like, having that raise, or having a new job, and like what that kind of would mean for us in general, like, what we would like to maybe add on to our home, or a vacation we'd like to take, or something like that. So you make it like a bigger story than just like a blanket statement.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next thing I got down here to help keep the momentum going is to make sigils or affirmations, however you want to do it, to hang up and look. It's the same as the vision board, but it's just a little more. So sigils it's a little bit witchy, so not everybody's into that. But if you are and you know what a sigil is, you could definitely use sigils. They are just symbols that mean certain things, and it triggers your brain by seeing the symbol. So you can hang them up in your home, on your bathroom mirror, on your refrigerator, in your car, on your cell phone case. You can slip them in and things like that. Carry them with you. Also, what I really love about sigil work is you don't have to take sigils that are already made because you don't know for sure what that symbol means. Okay. Just because Google says it means this, it could mean something bad. You don't know. You
Mhm.
can make your own sigils, and there is many little workshops on YouTube for free. You can watch a video on how to make your own sigils, and it's super simple. Just use your intuition to guide you to who you want to learn from on there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But or you can keep it more simple and just write down affirmations. I want that dream job. So you're going to write down things about getting your dream job and achieving that goal, and then just kind of hang the little notes up around for you to see regularly.
Yeah, I like to use like a dry erase marker or even Sharpie because it comes off pretty easily on a mirror
Oh,
and just
nice.
write one. So it's like a different one every week, or maybe I'll have like five depending on like what's happening that week.
Love
I
it.
write them on my son's mirror, and then I also add like put on deodorant. Just
The
brush your
dry
teeth.
erase board's a great idea. Then you don't have to keep running through Post-it notes.
Yeah, and you just wipe it off and you write another one, or like maybe
Yeah.
you can check one off and then you can write another one. So yeah. But
Yeah,
I
but
have a
also
couple we
too,
do every morning.
yeah, you can, I mean, some people take it as far as they'll write stuff on themselves.
Oh
But
yeah.
even too, people draw sigils on the backs
Actually,
of
I
their
think
hands and
on
wear
my
them for the day.
like I think I actually have a sigil list.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so but I
That
mean,
is so cool.
yeah, it was on my desk, which is so weird that you even brought them up because yeah, I don't know.
That is
Story
weird,
for
but
another time.
everything is
Now.
weird.
I
Everything
know.
is weird.
Everything is weird. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah. I am one of those people. I'm so opened up now to my psychic gifts and abilities and all of that. And I know that every person on this planet is psychic and has gifts and abilities, but you have to learn how to open up to it because it's different for each and every one of us and
Everybody.
how we do that.
Yeah.
So,
I know. It's so different for everybody. That's why even like for manifestation, so different for everybody, but there is an equation to an
yeah, it's
extent
like,
that you should
where are you
follow.
at in your journey? That's how you figure out how you need to manifest.
Yeah.
Because it's different for everybody, period, with
Yeah.
everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keeping a clear picture of your goals and not jumping around changing it. You already mentioned that right away in the beginning too. You were saying everything you were saying. I was like, oh my God, she's saying everything I wrote down. It's
I'm
hilarious. We're
sorry.
like, Chrissy and I are so connected. We're definitely soul family. And that's how you know when you meet somebody that's soul family, you're very aligned and connected to that person. You have similar thoughts. You know, you work into finishing each other's sentences even after some time goes by.
Well, Melanie,
Um,
we manifested each other for each other.
yeah, we really did.
Yeah.
We really did. That's a
Yeah.
great thing to bring up in this talk here. I called out for my person, one of my soulmates, soul family, it's all of that.
Yep.
And Christy was sent to me because I said, universe, God, higher self, please bring me my best friend because I know that they're out there and I'm supposed to create and do big things with this person, but I don't
Yep.
know who they are. And then I let it go. And I tried to manifest you about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's taken quite time because, and I feel that 2 years ago wasn't the right time for either one of us to meet yet. There are other things going on in our lives where we weren't going to be able to do this podcast and whatever else we're going to find ourselves doing down the road. So
Right.
it's like the energies had to be right in order for the two of us to meet, you
Right.
know?
100%. And yeah, just even how we met, well, that's another story too. But like, just, yeah,
Right.
I totally manifested you because, and I just knew the night that I met you that I'm like, I have to, like, this is a very important night and I have to go. I
Yeah.
can't cancel.
I mean,
So,
I even broke my toe the day before I met her, and I met her at a work function. And if I would have canceled, that would have been it. You know
it
what
was
I mean?
it was
We would have
pouring
never met.
rain. There was every reason to stay home. Like it just, yeah, just kind
And
of,
I was like, Spirit says I really need to go, that it's important. And
yep,
sure enough,
yeah,
and I just got to say, I let that manifestation go like a year ago. I kind of like, I still had it in the back of my head, but I let it go and I released it to the universe to meet my friend, my person that was supposed to be like a sisterhood thing, like a
yeah,
closeness, like a soul family member. And I told Spirit, I'm okay with it if I'm not supposed to have a close friend. But I knew that I was supposed to meet you. I just didn't know who you were.
yeah,
So that was me kind of releasing my expectations behind it and allowing the universe to bring you to me at the right time when it was meant to be. And it was hard to release it because I wanted more than anything to have a friend,
oh,
someone
me
that I
too.
could talk to about all this kind of
Just
stuff,
like a
you
like-minded
know?
friend, yeah, for sure. And I
Yeah.
kept, I like, I've only been really practicing for like a year, like out of and in my comfort zone, so not even out of my comfort zone. So like 2 years ago, I wasn't even on the realm of like even reaching out to anybody or even going to psychic fairs or anything. I was just kind of like dormant, practicing on my own stuff. But then yeah, I thought like a couple people I thought they were going to be that friend, and I'm like, nope, something's missing. That's not who it is. And
Same.
then yep, and then
I ran through a whole bunch of them.
and then we met like seriously, I think it was like minute one. I'm like, oh, this is something special.
Yeah, and I made the mistake a lot of people make when they manifest. I thought when I asked for my soul family to come in, or my best friend that I was yearning for, I thought it was going to be an immediate thing, but I was rushing the process.
Right.
I was being impatient with it. And so spirit, was like, well, go ahead and run it through, oh, you think this person's who we sent you, well, go ahead and see how that goes. And let me tell you guys, every time I went and tried to force it, it was all wrong, and it did not go in my favor. I'm just saying, we're not going
Yep.
to go into details, but it did not go in my favor. I
Me
got
too.
hurt too. I got hurt a couple times. I was crying and devastated because I thought that person was my new BFF, and they weren't at all. They were nowhere near it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mhm.
And that caused a lot of emotions for me. But then once I released it, there you came,
Yep. Exactly. It's just, I don't know, just the whole aligning of everything and the timing and just everything, which is so perfect.
Yeah. That timing thing gets a lot of people too, because you don't know the kind of time frame for each of your manifestations.
Yep.
And that's why you have to be okay with releasing it and allowing it to come in divine timing, because you can't force something like that. You just can't,
Yeah, and I always say like timing is perfect. Like even if I feel like I'm running 10 minutes late for something, I'm like, nope, I trust the timing. Timing is always perfect. And
Yeah.
so just, take that stress away, take that worry away, and just like believe in the timing.
Yeah. And then, of course, the jumping around thing. If you're manifesting something and you keep changing it in big ways, the universe is like, this person is confusing. I don't know. They don't know what they want, and I don't know what they want. So they're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
So you got to
I
be
don't want to send
careful
them the
there.
wrong thing or yeah.
And it is absolutely okay to manifest multiple things at once, but you need to make sure you're in the right standing to do that. You got to be
Yep.
grounded, balanced, healed. Lots going on there, but you can manifest multiple things at once. I would say for the average person, you could manifest probably about 3 things at the same time if they were all
Yeah,
smaller things.
realistically, I mean, and the thing is like when you let it go, that leaves room for you to manifest another thing. But like
Yeah,
just to really yeah, like like one thing per like meditation or one thing
yeah,
per like just one focus. Yeah, because
yeah.
it's just it that way you don't get that confusion or you don't get that blockage.
Right. But if you are somebody that's very enlightened, evolved, healed, just have a high vibration, you could probably manifest 10 things at once if you wanted to. But like you said, you have to separate each of those manifestations and make sure that the universe knows that you're separating them too. You know what I mean? Because that's a lot of energies going on.
Yeah, and consistent. Stay consistent with the vision.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we should definitely do one of these about meditation, because guys, Chrissy is like a master with meditation stuff. She goes to some amazing places in her meditation. So definitely let us know in the comments if you're interested about that.
Meditation techniques, yeah.
So I also have here about you can remember to stay grateful for what you already have to welcome in the new. When you're manifesting, one of the key things is being grateful for what you have currently to invite in what you're asking for as new,
Yeah.
because without gratitude, guys, you're kind of just walking around like a bratty little kid that's spoiled. Like, I have everything, but I want this too. And the universe is like, no, no, you need some healing or something. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's
Like,
almost like like if you have like Christmas morning and then the next day you're like, and where are my other presents? It's like
Yeah,
you
like,
have to.
well, I didn't get everything I wanted. I only got 100 things off my list of 150. Where's the other 50 things? The universe is like, oh, ungrateful, ew, unbalanced,
But it's always
unhealed.
important to like take that pause and and be grateful for the things like you're like, 6 months ago, a year ago, you wished and hoped and prayed for this thing to be in your life. Now you have it. Take a pause and be grateful for it before you want to ask for more or keep manifesting more, because you have to be content. And if you're never content, like you'll never find happiness and joy with what you're receiving. And that's the whole
Absolutely.
purpose of manifestation, is to obtain that happiness, that joy, that contentment. And if you keep manifesting things and material things and they're not bringing that to you, then that's going to be another blockage. So just
Yeah.
living in gratitude every day. Do your gratitudes. I do mine for like my family, my friends,
Yep.
you
Every
know,
day.
just, I mean, just
Every
even
day. And there's
my
so much
home,
that I'm
my,
not grateful for that's going on, but I focus on what I am grateful
yeah,
for.
because you only
Okay.
want to give
My life
energy
is
and
not
attention.
perfect. No
Yeah.
one's is. But I am alive. I woke up today. I have a home. I have a car. I have a
Food on the
loving
table.
husband. I have family that loves me. I have a lot to be grateful for. And that's just the few things off the top,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. And even if it like you just whatever room you're sitting in now, look around, you can find a handful of things minimally to be grateful for. And
Yeah, I
even
mean,
if,
everyone should be grateful for their cell phones for one. Cell phones are like very expensive,
yeah,
right?
internet.
Yeah, but everybody's just like, oh, everybody has a phone. It's not a big deal. Well, it is a big deal. My phone was 2,000 freaking dollars, so it's a huge deal. I'm just
Right.
saying.
Yeah, exactly. But we get
They
so
talk
used
about
to
you want
some
to
things, we
upgrade.
forget to be
No,
grateful
I
for
just got
them.
it.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. So I also have down here about visualizing, having what it is you're manifesting, and doing whatever it is you're wanting to create. So you have to literally visualize. And I would say this is more of the beginning. You want to visualize quite a bit at first about seeing yourself doing what it is you're manifesting, having it, being it, because it depends on what you're creating. So, say again, if it's the dream job, see yourself working that job, see yourself out in the field experiencing that job. Even if you're not exactly sure what it entails, make it up. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Yep.
Um, I think that's a problem for some people. Is some people have how do I want to say, they don't, that's where you need that childlike sense of wonderment to come out, that inner child to really help you fantasize and make believe, you know?
Right. Yep.
And some people just kind of lose sight of that inner child and that amazement, and wonderment. And I don't really know how to tell people to open that back up, but I know that one way I alert my inner child is I'll go watch an old childhood movie, like Beauty and the Beast or something that was one of my favorites, Wizard of Oz, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, stuff like that. And as you're watching or engaging in maybe kid games that you played as a child, things like that, it'll really spike that inner child within you, and then that's when you want to play off those type of energies. So maybe
Right.
if you need to pop in that old childhood movie to get that sense of wonderment going, that's what you got to do. And then right after that, get into your creations of fantasizing about your manifestation.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see, and then the last thing I put for that is believing in yourself and believing that you can achieve this. You can have your manifestation. You are worthy of it. I cannot stress this one enough. This is like so important.
Right. So important. So one of my affirmations every day, my son and I say like on our way to school, it's like, I'm worthy of the best. And only good things happen to me. And just like today's a great day. I choose to live in heaven. Like there's just like a handful of ones that we recite every day. And it's just like to remind us that we are worthy of the best because,
Absolutely.
no one else tells you that.
Well, it's part of self-love. You can't manifest if you don't love yourself,
Yep,
because that's part of
exactly.
being healed.
Yeah. And,
And
and
an
if you don't love
unhealed
yourself,
person,
you have
sorry,
to be,
go ahead.
oh no, if you don't love yourself, you have to be careful of what you're manifesting because,
Yes.
you don't want to manifest something that's going to not be for like your highest good because
I
if you
swear
don't
I was
love
going to
yourself,
say
oh, no way.
yeah, I was gonna say, when you're lower vibration, you can manifest things, but it's usually what you don't
Don't
want.
want, yeah, or what you fear.
Don't
'Cause,
ask
like,
me why, ask
yep,
the universe.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I kind of know why. And so the reason why, guys, is because when you are communicating energetically with your higher self, the universe, God, Jesus, the angels, your ancestors, all of the above, whatever you're communicating with, you have to be careful because when you're communicating through frequency, which is not speaking. Okay, so you can't tell the universe will just call everything this and expect them to understand that. Okay, and like getting more into that a little bit, but not going too far with it, is just that. Say, what's a good example?
I would say a
Say,
relationship, like if you don't love yourself, how are you going to find someone who's going to that you can love? Like
yes,
you can't be healthy with and in a,
that is a perfect
yeah,
example because when I didn't love myself, I begged God to send me in a boyfriend. I just wanted a boyfriend, okay? I had went through a yucky breakup and I was alone and I wanted a boyfriend. That's all I asked for. So he sent me a boyfriend, but it was a very low frequency boyfriend that abused me and different crazy things went on, okay? And so I thought, oh my gosh, why would God do that? Why would the universe do that? And then it's like, because there's so much more going on when you're asking for things.
right,
And when you're on a low vibration, you're asking for something, you're going to get something that matches your vibration.
yep,
So I couldn't have got Mr. Perfect because I wasn't Mrs. Perfect to match that person. You know what I
right,
mean?
yep, exactly. That's another example coming up too.
Yeah, and the universe doesn't understand things like, well, I asked for this, but then there was this other stuff going on. The universe, like, whoa, 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 whoa. None of that makes sense. All
Right,
I know is what you asked for. I don't know this other stuff involved. Or,
right,
well, I asked for this, but then this and that, blah, blah. I don't even have a good example, but hopefully that made sense.
right. Because yeah, if you're not healthy and self-loving, then you're not going to be in a healthy, loving relationship.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So, a few more steps that we can all take when manifesting is working on keeping your mindset positive, trying to overcome any limiting beliefs that hold you back from believing you can achieve what you want, raising your vibration and keeping it raised. Okay, we always get off balance, yes, but you have to stay on point with keeping your vibe up, keeping yourself raised in a positive energy, especially when you're trying to manifest. um, Remaining open and receptive, staying grounded, balanced, and deep breathing exercises and meditation. Those are all really amazing things that you can just, tune in to utilize their tools. It's like your spiritual tools, you
Yep,
know?
exactly. Spiritual toolbox of, you know, different strategies or just care, like even self-care.
Right. And I may have went a little overboard with the steps and what you can do here, but it's like, some people need all of this when they're
Oh
first
yeah.
starting out.
What?
Manifesting is not easy, but it's not hard either. It's like you just have to learn how to do it.
Learn, yeah, and once you learn it, it's like second nature and
Yeah,
it comes to you a lot faster. So like
it's like
actually
riding a bike.
it was perfect that you went over the steps because like my examples kind of show those steps in action. And it's funny that you just said ride a bike because the first one is the Jim Carrey story. And he said in second grade, his teacher told him or told the class and said that like all she does is pray to Mother Mary and for whatever she wants. And then she says, when I receive this, I will repay it and do another good deed or a favor in return. So
Nice.
he's like, I'm sitting in the back of the classroom, like, that sounds awesome. So he prayed that night to Mother Mary for a bike because all of his friends had bikes. He didn't have one. His dad couldn't afford one for him, but he prayed for a bike. And he said, in return, I will pray the rosary. So 2 weeks later, he comes home from school and there's a brand new bike in his living room. And he was just so excited. And the way he got it was amazing. He said his friend went into the grocery store and they were doing a raffle for a bike. And his friend put his name in, like Jim Carrey's name in for the raffle. And he ended up winning. So he didn't even know all of this stuff was happening behind the scenes, that his friend was signing him up for the raffle. And he ended up winning the raffle for this bike, and he prayed for the bike. And he's like, it was 2 weeks later. And he said that throughout his entire career, throughout Hollywood, everything, like he's kind of said the same thing. So his manifestation is like, yeah, praying and repaying. And I think that's a good balance, and it keeps high vibrations. But then let's see. So he even said, like, the creation in his mind, he puts it out there like it already exists. You feel like it exists, you dream like it exists, and then when the doors open, you walk through them. And it's interesting because he mentions doors, like when the doors are open, you walk through. Each example kind of mentions these like doors, but yeah, I think it's figuratively, obviously, but like you can sense whenever the doors open for you, whenever you're manifesting.
Well,
The second,
some people, if they need to visualize walking through a door, do that if that's what you feel like would help.
yeah, exactly. And that's why Bashar he channeled that you need to match the vibration of what you're manifesting.
Wait, really
Manifestation.
quick, who is Bashar? Just so for everyone
So
listening.
Bashar, what's his name? His name's Daryl something. And he is a channeler, and he channels like a higher being named Bashar. And so he travels the world, has just people gathering, and they just ask him questions. So one
Is
of the
that the
questions,
guy that keeps his eyes closed while he's doing readings for
yeah,
people?
yeah, that's
I
him.
just recently found him on YouTube and he is very interesting to
He's
listen
very
to.
interesting. I know.
Very insightful.
I just, yeah, I trust what he's saying, but it's also kind of bizarre. So it's just, I don't know. So, but like
It is, but I always feel like when I'm listening to him, he's telling the
I'm
truth.
like,
I
yeah,
have
that's
a lie detector built
right. I
in.
totally, yeah,
So,
I know. Like, even if he is a good actor, he's done his research. I don't know, but I think his
yeah,
messages are always
yeah.
very on point, personally, and just even from messages I've received and channeled, and I'm like, they match. And that's why I trust what he's saying. It's just, it's so bizarre for the human brain to like wrap your head around.
It's
But,
funny that Spirit brought him up to me just recently in the last week. And
oh,
it's
okay.
someone that they brought up to you too.
Yeah, because I really haven't, I'm just learning about him, because
Yeah,
once you
me
hear
too. I'm
about
like, how
him,
have I never heard of this
yeah,
guy?
I'm like, yeah, I went to like a deep dive. I'm like, what is this? And then I heard like
I was like,
Daryl
oh,
something.
why
Yeah,
are his eyes closed? I need to know more.
yeah, right. And he said that manifestation is a reflection of your vibration. He's even speaking in more of like a scientific way, that like art, he said your own Einstein said in physics that you cannot solve a problem from the same level in which the problem was created. You have to go to
Yes.
another level to find the solution. Solutions are different, are a different vibration than the idea of the initial challenge. So be the vibration first. Then you will be inspired and attractive to the synchronicities and the thoughts, ideas that come hand in hand with that vibration. If you are
Yeah.
not that vibration, then the doors in front of you will be invisible to you. So once you reach that vibration of what you're manifesting, then those doors will be visible, just like Jim Carrey said, and you can walk through
Yeah.
them. So I just
And
thought
that's
that was interesting.
exactly, man, that was perfect because that example I gave earlier is what he is talking about, where
Mhm.
you want that six-figure job, but you didn't even go to college to get the degree to get the job.
Yeah.
So your vibration does not match getting that job until you go get that degree
And
first.
even if you don't finish the degree, or you're around people that can help get you to where you need to be. And so
That's
like it's
right.
not even just the end point of getting a college degree, because sometimes that's kind of a joke anymore. But like,
Just saying,
yeah,
like,
no, but
if that
yeah,
maybe that job, you have to have that
but the
degree to get
action,
it. You
yeah,
know
and
what
the
I
action
mean?
puts you
Not saying
around the
we have
right
to go
people.
to
No,
college to
no,
make.
yeah, no, I'm just, but like that, but just the action alone of applying and starting school, like your very first class, your professor might see something and you'd be like, I have this job, and you climb the ladder quickly. Like you just
Yep.
never know what's going to
You can fall into
happen.
an internship, a mentorship,
Yep.
maybe even a whole different opportunity for another job comes in that you didn't even know you would want.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. You might actually find another interest is something that aligns with you better, that will fulfill you more than, accounting or whatever you think you want to go for.
Absolutely.
The next person is Neville Goddard. I always pronounce it. My Pittsburgh accent doesn't let me like pronounce things like that. Neville Goddard, and it's just
I don't know if I know this one. Who's this?
I'll have to send you the video. It's interesting. So he's more like meditative. So he's the feeling of a wish fulfilled. So this is like his whole theory. So he has, isn't it wonderful, manifestation technique. Um, his is like every night before you go to bed to relax into like a meditative state, like relax your whole body, focus on your breathing. And then he says, imagine the scene of fulfillment in your deepest desires. Picture it vividly in your mind. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the emotions. You don't really have to specify if you're not very good at visualization in this technique, but then whisper to yourself, isn't it wonderful? Echo these words throughout your being. Repeat this phrase and allow the feelings of awe and gratitude to permeate your entire being. Feel it as if it was true right now, because to you it is. This feeling is the secret to creation. It is the bridge between your current reality and the reality you wish to step into. You are assuming the feeling of the fulfilled. By practicing this, you are teaching your subconscious mind what to create in your outer world, as within, so without. So he's like an every night meditation technique. And it's I forgot already. Isn't it wonderful? So
Thanks.
just
I'm going to start doing that when I go to bed at night.
yeah,
So I lay there awake for 20 minutes at least before I fall asleep. That's what the perfect time to do
yeah.
that while you're in that twilight
And it
state.
calms your brain. I mean, I
It's
do
a
a
magical
sleep.
state to be in.
Then like you're kind of releasing the day and the stress and just kind of like relaxing your body anyways. Like I do a sleep meditation every night anyway, so I'm like might add this into mine as well, just to add the visualization as I'm like relaxing my body and I'm getting into that sleep mode. But before I'm gonna like place my order and then I'm gonna go to sleep
Yep.
and then have
Yeah.
sweet dreams about
Oh
it.
man.
Yeah.
Boy, this is like an A1 manifesting video and explanations. Like this is like everything you need to
Well, these
do.
like examples just kind of show how it's the same stuff, but in different ways for each person's perspective and each person's
Yeah.
practice. So like the visualization, the vibration, the meditation, the believing, the even the verbiage that you use around like that I have it already. It's already in existence. It's already mine. And it's just across the board. It's the same equation, but just in different ways for different people because it all works different. All of our minds are different. Our thought processes are different. So if you just use the same information, but like kind of mold it into what works for you, then that's how you're going to manifest. So there's steps and stuff, but like your steps might not be 1, 2, 3. It might be 1, 5, 6, 3, 2,
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and I love the little mantra thing you said for that guy where he says, as within, so without. That's similar as above, so below. But there's little sayings like that that are very powerful. that
Yeah.
you can chant or say three. I'm a big say it 3 times in a row kind of person.
Yeah.
I believe in the magic of three. I'm also a life path number 3, so it makes sense for me. But 3 is a magical number in numerology. It means manifesting, and it means taking physical actions towards what you're manifesting. So maybe also when people are manifesting, if you're seeing the number 3 a lot, that could be a really big sign
Yeah.
that you're on the right path. You're creating your manifestation. You're probably going to get it if you keep seeing 3s. That's like your sign,
Yeah.
one of anyway. You're going to get multiple signs, but that would be one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think threes are important. It's like in religion, it's the Holy Trinity. And yeah, just, the threes are everywhere.
There's a whole bunch
So,
of other stuff too that I can't think of. There's a list,
yeah.
like not just the Holy Trinity, but there's like I can't even think now, but there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch. Look up, guys, Google, why is 3, the number 3, so magical? And like all kinds of stuff comes up. It's pretty
That's
crazy.
why, like, yeah, everything that like you've even mentioned is
Yeah.
Googleable, or even look up the Jim Carrey story. The way he says it, oh, like brought tears in my eyes. It was amazing, and the
Yeah, he
smart.
tells a lot of amazing stories about him becoming successful and have it having to do with spirituality.
Yeah, that's why he's more of a spiritual like I just kind of recently found that out. So he was just fascinating to listen to. And the other
Spirit directed me to listen to him years ago. It was part of my journey at that time, but he
Yeah.
inspired me quite a bit.
Well, the last guy I mentioned, it's the way his name is spelled, it's Neville, and his last name is Goddard. So if I'm pronouncing
Oh,
it
Goddard, like
Goddard,
Dick
yeah.
Goddard from The Weather.
I don't
Oh,
know.
you're not from this state. This guy Dick Goddard did the local weather around where I live like my entire life, and he just passed away not too long back.
Oh, okay. I feel like we do
And
these
ever
things in our
since he
news.
died, the weather has been wrong. We miss you, Dick Goddard. For anyone out there that knows who that is, a lot of people do. So
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
weather has been wrong ever since you died. I'm just saying.
And it's all a guess anyways. But
Right.
I think we kind of covered the basics of everything. I think this is great. Do you have any
Yeah, and
last?
I just did a little teeny list to end things here in a minute, not trying to cut you off, about what not to do.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We started talking about that, and then yeah.
And I really didn't put down a ton. I've got 5 things that you should not do when you're manifesting. Number 1, expecting instant results and instant gratification for what you're creating. If you are expecting instant results, you already screwed it up. I'm just saying. Don't do that because you're going to mess it up right out the gate, right off rip.
Well, just
Right?
expectations in general destroy things. Like expectations
Yeah.
ruin relationships.
Everything.
They ruin, yeah, manifestations. They ruin
Setting ourselves up for
disappointment.
downfalls,
Yeah.
setting yourself up to get hurt, to, be upset because you put an expectation on that person, but you can't do that because you're not that person,
Yeah. That's just like a life lesson, is like let go of expectations. You'll live a
Yeah.
happier life.
But that instant results and gratification is like, hey, listen, you can't just like it even took 2 weeks for Jim Carrey to get his bike.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Like he didn't get it the very next day. And because he didn't get it, he didn't say, oh, well, I guess I won't get a bike then. And then he wouldn't have ever gotten it.
Right. No,
He
he
would have
said that
ruined
entire
it.
2 weeks he was hopeful. He knew it was coming because he trusted what he was told.
Absolutely. So the next thing you should not do when you are being very unclear about what you want and or changing it a lot, which I know I already brought that up, but it's very important. Spirit was saying when I was writing all of this down for people to understand that you have to be very specific and you have to stay on topic with what it is you're asking for. Like you can't say, oh, I want this, and then 2 days later be like, oh no, wait, I want this to be that now. No, 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 no.
Right.
You can't do that. Okay. You get the energies all crossed and it confuses things and it just screws it up, basically. All right. So also being and or feeling negative about what you want and telling yourself you won't get it, you can't get it, you don't deserve it, feeling like you don't deserve it, feeling like you won't get it, feeling and thinking are both factors here, because
Mhm.
whatever you're feeling and thinking creates energies surrounding what you're manifesting, so you have to keep the thoughts positive.
That's what the
If you're
affirmations are for. Yeah. Because like
yeah,
your thoughts are creating.
exactly. You're asking for a mansion, but you're like, I'm not going to get it though, because there's just no way. Why are you wasting your time and the universe's time on this if you don't believe you deserve it and you can get it?
Yep. You're just canceling each other out. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, the other thing you should not do when manifesting is asking for unrealistic things. Like when I brought up before about wanting, a lot of people are obsessed with celebrities, and a lot of people are in love with their celebrity and they want to marry that person. I have dealt with this as a psychic reader. I have had women come to me talking about how they are in love with this famous person and that famous person, and they know that that person is their twin flame and that they're meant to be together, and they want a reading about how they're going to get with that person in the future. And it's like, you're not going to get with that person in the future. Like, I don't entertain that kind of stuff with people because I'm not going to sit here and feed you a bunch of crap. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, maybe one person out of all of them would actually meet that celebrity and it would be their twin flame. But that is such a rare kind of, that's why I'm using it as an example. That is so rare to be like, oh, a famous celebrity is my twin flame and we're meant to be together. Like maybe that happens to one person in this country of America,
Yeah, but that also
right? Like
like
I'm
kind
not
of
even going to say the whole world, but
it like reflects a little bit on like what intention is. Like, what is your intention to marry that celebrity? It's because you want celebrity status too, or is it you want the money?
is
Do you
it
want the
based on
lifestyle?
physical attraction only because you don't know them personally to be in
Yeah.
love with
So
them?
yeah, so I'd be like, check your intention if that's something that like, is a priority to you. Because like, not that
Yeah.
it's like not a good like it's not like terrible. It's just like, what's your intention? That's what really
Well,
matters.
what makes it unrealistic? It's based off of negative energies. You don't know that person. How can
Yeah.
you be in love with someone if you don't know them? So, what are you then? You're infatuated. What's that? That's low vibrational energy.
Yep.
Infatuation is not good, it's
Yep.
obsession. That's negative. That's not good.
Yeah.
So already that manifestation is not in the best interest of you or the person involved. So you're definitely not going to get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But there's a lot of things that are unrealistic, and there's no sense in us trying to come up with a bunch of. I just thought the celebrity thing was the perfect because that happens so much.
Right. Oh, for sure.
And then the last thing is being ungrounded, unbalanced, and unhealed and carrying a low vibration. So you're only going to attract low vibrational things, which is probably not what you're initially trying to manifest for yourself. People aren't like, ooh, I'm going to manifest a crappy life for myself. Okay. No one says that. But when you're low vibrational and you're asking for things, you're not asking for the right things because you're too low vibrational to understand that.
Right.
Right.
Right. And it takes more than just listening to like high vibration music. It's like you should be careful of what music you're listening to because there is a lot of like really popular low vibration music that can bring you down, but like just that healing is so important. I just from personal experience and like I know you've had the same thing like healing when you just start with the basic of healing and anything spiritual or anything in life, that's when your life changes. Like when you start loving yourself and healing yourself and yeah, caring for yourself.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's like step one for anything.
exactly. Wow. What a great chat today.
Yeah.
I'm really excited that we talked about manifestation because this is a really big topic in the whole world right now. I mean, every time I get on any of my social media apps, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's being talked about everywhere. You
Yeah.
type in manifestation in Google and a million things pop up. Like it's everywhere. It's just like the topic on everyone's minds right now. Like, is it real? Does it work? Can I do it? Yes, yes, and yes, you
Well,
know?
thank you for watching. Make a comment or leave us a comment if there's any topics you want us to touch on. Maybe
Yes.
elaborate a little more on
Give us some
meditation,
ideas.
healing,
We
and
have a lot
stuff.
of ideas coming up, but we need more, guys. So, and definitely comment. Let us know what you think about our chats. Let us know what you learned from listening to us because we love that kind of feedback.
Definitely. So, and yeah, feel free to reach out to either of us